1 minute ago, WWE fans were left absolutely stunned. The arena was silent, the lights dimmed, and the energy shifted. Something unthinkable had just happened. Jey Uso, the man who defied all odds, rose from tag team specialist to singles supremacy, had fallen. But this wasn't just a loss. This wasn't just about a belt changing hands. This was a carefully constructed moment in WWE's evolving saga, one packed with pain, politics, long-term strategy, and emotion. Gunther didn't just defeat Jey Uso. He crushed the momentum of one of the most beloved underdog champions in recent memory. And now, we're diving deep into the real reason why Jey Uso lost the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Because trust me, this isn't just about a match. It's about a man, about a message, and maybe a warning for what's coming next in WWE. Before we go any further, if you're new here, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This isn't your average wrestling news channel. We break the kayfabe wall, we go deep into what WWE isn't saying, and we bring you the raw emotion behind the entertainment. Now let's rewind just a bit. Jey Uso wasn't supposed to be here. Not in the main event scene, not holding a world title, not as the face of Raw. But he earned every bit of it. Fans got behind him, not because of flashy moves or fancy promos, but because he was real. The man's journey was painful to watch at times. Being manipulated by Roman Reigns, betrayed by his own twin brother Jimmy, torn apart emotionally, and left trying to find himself in a world that wanted him to be just a supporting act. But when he finally broke free and rose up as a singles competitor, it was electric. And when he captured the World Heavyweight Championship earlier this year, that wasn't just a feel-good moment, that was history. That was the fans saying, yes, this is who we believe in. And for a while, WWE seemed to ride the wave. Merchandise sales, upper crowd reactions, insane, social media, exploding with Jey chants, memes, and GIFs. But then something shifted. Subtly, quietly, behind the curtain. Insiders began noticing that WWE was treating Jey's reign cautiously. His bookings weren't dominant. His defenses weren't stacked with prestige. And the segments? They started getting shorter, less impactful. Rumblings backstage said it clearly, Jey's reign was not meant to last. It was a bridge reign, a setup, a pivot point to transition from one storyline era to another. And who was on the other end of that bridge? The ring general himself, Gunther. Let's talk about what really happened the night Jey lost the title. It wasn't a clean setup. Jey entered the night already wounded. Before his match, he was brutally attacked by members of Judgment Day, orchestrated by none other than Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. A backstage ambush. He was blindsided, driven into the steel post, suplexed onto equipment crates, and worst of all, power-bombed onto the concrete floor backstage. Jey entered the match barely able to breathe, ribs wrapped tightly, limping, coughing, holding his midsection. But the show must go on, right? WWE booked him to defend his title that very night against Gunther. That's not just unfair, that's a tactical sacrifice. Gunther, as always, was cold, calculated, and merciless. He honed in on Jey's ribs like a shark smelling blood in the water. Chop after chop echoed through the arena. Knee strikes, rib-crushing slams, a bear hug that looked like it might crack a few bones. Gunther didn't just beat Jey, he dismantled him. And then came the finish, a long, grueling sleeper hold that left Jey Uso clawing, gasping, and finally, unconscious. Not pinned, not submitted, just gone. The ref called it, and just like that, Jey Uso's reign was over. But that was just the surface. The truth runs much deeper. WWE is now in a crucial business transition. With Raw moving to Netflix, executives are panicking behind closed doors. Every superstar is being reevaluated, not just for in-ring skill, but for market potential. That means, do they draw eyes on streaming platforms? Do they trend on social media? Do they sell globally? Unfortunately, while Jey was massively over with the live crowd, his digital numbers reportedly didn't keep up. Gunther, however, checks every box. Global appeal, ruthless efficiency, European market reach, consistent storytelling. In other words, a safe investment. Jey Uso was the story the fans loved, but Gunther is the star the company wants. And that brings us to the emotional core of this story. What happened after the match was more powerful than anything that aired on television. Behind the scenes, Jey Uso was spotted sitting in the trainer's room, tears in his eyes, holding the hand of his young son. Not a segment, not a promo, just a man, hurting, trying to hold it together in front of his child. He reportedly told his son, "Daddy did his best. I'll come back." He hugged him close, stared down at the floor, and thanked the staff who checked on him. No theatrics, no scripted lines, just vulnerability. It was real, and fans who caught the leaked footage online were shaken. This wasn't just a character moment. This was Josh Fatu, the man behind the paint, facing the weight of expectation, loss, and disappointment. Now let's talk long-term. WWE is now in dangerous territory. Why? Because when a fan favorite like Jey is built up and torn down too quickly, fans feel betrayed. And betrayal turns into apathy. It's not about wins and losses, it's about payoff, storytelling, closure. Jey Uso's rise should have led to a long, dramatic arc, not a transitional fall just to elevate Gunther. And WWE knows this. That's why internally there's panic. Because if stars like Jey can't be sustained, who can? Cody? He already peaked at WrestleMania. Rollins? Injured and inconsistent. Roman? On a Hollywood schedule. WWE's top babyface roster is thin, and they just dropped the ball on the most emotionally driven, organic character they've had since Daniel Bryan. So where does Jey go from here? Two options. One, redemption, a slow rebuild. Maybe even winning the Royal Rumble next year. The other, a heel turn, a psychological break. A man who gave everything and still wasn't enough. He could realign with Solo Sikoa, maybe even bring back the old Uso aggression. Or he finally ends the bloodline once and for all. That match with Roman, one-on-one, is still on the table. And if booked right, it could finally give fans the payoff they've been waiting 3 years for. But if WWE lets Jey fade into the mid-card, then this whole arc meant nothing. And that's the real tragedy. Because Jey Uso didn't lose because he couldn't hang. He lost because WWE is playing chess with human emotion. But now, the board is wide open, and it's time for Jey to make the next move. Let us know in the comments if you still believe in Jey Uso's comeback story. Share your favorite Jey Uso moment, and let WWE know, the ones who listen to the crowd, that Main Event Jey isn't done yet. He's just getting started. Subscribe, like, and stay tuned, because the next title change might come faster than you think. And this time, it might not come with a happy ending.